Hello YouTube, welcome to Car Guy Corner, and today we're going to be installing a winch and a fair lead on the wife's Can-Am Renegade. So the winch we're installing is a 3,000 pound rated line pull. Motor is a 1.2 horsepower, 12 volt DC motor. It's got a sealed control box for all weather protection, sealed handlebar mounted switch, mechanical and dynamic brake, and pull and turn free spooling clutch. Comes with bolts, the remote, everything you need to put it on your ATV. Just a cheap winch on sale for $89 at my local Canadian Tire. We'll see how it does pulling the Renegade, because I'm sure we're going to end up needing it this summer, as we plan to do a lot of mud runs. I also picked up a fair lead, worn fair lead for the front of the bike, because the one that comes with the winch doesn't fit properly on the front mounting holes for the fair lead on the front of the bike. So I had to pick up one that was made for the bike. So I did that. That was another $69, I believe, if I remember correctly. Alright, now let's see what's in the box. Sorry if you can't hear me too well. The furnace keeps going on and off in the garage here because it's cold. So, we got a mounting plate. Mount the winch, mount the fair lead to the front of it. We got the winch itself, electric 3,000 pound, 12 volt DC. We got the switch and the wiring. Power side with a little circuit breaker. Hook, forged hook for it. We got control box, leads to go to the motor, leads to run up through the bike to the battery. Kind of a big box, so it might be a little awkward to try to find somewhere to hide it in the Renegade. Fair lead that comes with it. We got bracket to mount the switch on the handlebars. All the necessary hardware to bolt it down. And two rubber connectors to go over the end of the electric motor. Try to keep some of that mud and water out of there that we know we're going to get into. And for the worn fair lead, we've got hardware to bolt it down, and the fair lead itself. Nice big fair lead, way bigger compared to the little tiny one that comes with the winch. Maybe use that for something else or whatever, but that's a lot better. So this is the one we're going to use. Here's everything out of the boxes. And time to figure out how we're going to mount this thing to the Renegade. So to mount the fair lead, right under the bumper, I'm going to take out these two bolts out. I'm going to take off this steel cover here. And then, I don't know if you can see, because it's an XMR, down in there, there's 4 spots to bolt the winch down to. We gotta get underneath. We'll mark that plate that came with the winch, drill out those 4 holes, and bolt the winch down. Bolt the winch to the plate, and bolt the plate to the bike, and then we can put the fair lead on, and we're done. Wire it up and good to go. Now to take off the two bolts here, you need a number 8 Allen key and a 15mm wrench on the back for the nut. Then to do the bottom, you need a number 35 or 40 Torx for this bolt and this bolt, and then this front part of the bottom bumper will come off. So that's what I'm going to take off next. Now because it's an XMR, it's got the aluminum skid plate. Get to the 4 bolts to mark. So I know where to drill the plate. I gotta take those 2 bolts out too to drop this front aluminum skid plate. Drop this here. So the bolts for that back here. Take those 2 out, and then this aluminum skid plate will come off. Alright, well, I got the 2 leads for the motor changed. Black and a blue, so blue will be the positive, black's the ground. I also put a little bit of gasket maker around the where the cover goes back on the case. Maybe it'll help seal out some water. We'll see if it ever stops working and I pull this apart to see what's going on. We'll know if it worked or not. So let that dry for a bit and then mount this on the bike and start running the wires to wire it up. So while that dries, I think I'll try to figure out how to run the wire for the switch and mount the bracket on the handlebars and see how that turns out. Well, I mounted the switch. Right here. You can kind of reach it when your hand's still on the hand grip. It's not too far out of the reach. Move the brake over a little bit. Squeezed it in between the brake and the hand guard. I think it's a pretty good spot. Not too far. You can still kind of hold the bar. So let her try that out and she can tell me what she thinks. The wife wants me to move it or try to figure something else out. But we'll see how she likes it there. Okay, well now that I've changed the thermostat and the heater's working again, because everybody hates cold car guy corner, I can put some connectors on the end of the wires for the motor. So I went to my local Canadian Tire, picked up some yellow stud connectors, a little bit of shrink tube, so I can wire up the motor with a winch. So that's what I'll be doing next. Well, now we're all done. I got the wires hooked up. Ran them, tied them, and ran them up beside the rad, in behind the shock. This is the controller. I put a zip tie at the top and the bottom into the spot where the one made for the bike would go. And then there's the wires going up to the battery plug. Put some dielectrical grease in there. Ran it up, bunched it up, ran it up under the snorkel. Ran the wires down. Tried to tuck them out of the way the best I can. Up to here. Little circuit breaker. Hooked it up to the battery, tied it up so it looks nice. Maybe later on I'll shorten those a bit. And then the LED strips that I put in, I just tapped into the wiring for the cigarette lighter, or the accessory. Made little extensions here. Plug the power wire into it so the accessory will still work. And it only turns on when the bike's on, so it won't kill the battery. So I'm going to turn off all the lights and let's see how those red lights in the grill look.